harmonizing with nature. With over 4 decades of changing lives, your self-discovery archaeologist, get ready to be the best of you with your host, Beverly Zymet.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Beverly Zymet Show, where being the best you has just gotten easier. My guest today is Ken. He's Roshan, I get that right? And he's calling in from D.C., Maryland. And look at this handsome little man he's got with him. His name is Kenny. Look at that smile. So we got kind of a special show for you today. Kenny is an author, just like his daddy. Can you show us your book, Kenny?
Show the front cover, please.
Oh my gosh, isn't that absolutely amazing? Kenny is 7 and he's got a book of jokes. He was sharing a few of them with me earlier. Oh my goodness, they are so awesome. So Kenny, are you going to share with the audience some of your jokes?
Yeah.
Okay. Which joke would you like to share right now?
And speak
Where
loud.
do rabbits go after they get married?
I didn't know rabbits got married. Where do rabbits go after they get married? To bunny heaven? To bunny adventure? I don't know.
On a bunny moon.
On a bunny moon? Oh my gosh, that's cute. Okay, rabbits go on bunny moons. Okie dokie.
What kind of award did the dentist receive?
What kind of award did the dentist receive?
What kind of award did the dentist receive? I don't know. I don't like dentists very much, so I don't know as if I'd ever give them an award.
Plaque.
A little plaque.
A little plaque.
A little
A
plaque.
little plaque. Oh, that's cute.
Why don't you tell your dinosaur one? That's
I like dinosaurs. Okay, what's a dinosaur joke?
okay. He's saving that one.
Oh, you're saving that one. Okay.
What time should you go to the dentist?
What time should you go to the dentist?
Oh my goodness. What time should you go to the dentist? When you have a toothache?
No.
No? When your tooth has an owie? No? I don't know. What time should you go to the dentist?
2:30.
Tooth hurdy.
2:30. Oh, well, that makes sense. 2:30. Okay. I'll remember that when next time I have to go to the dentist. I'll tell him I have to be there at 2:30.
You gonna do the dinosaur now? You can do a knock knock joke. You have some good knock knocks there.
Ooh, knock knocks. I like knock knocks.
But you said dinosaurs.
Okay, so you're gonna do the animals dinosaur? Okay.
What do you call a dinosaur that is sleeping?
Oh my goodness. What do you call a dinosaur that's sleeping? A snorononus?
That's pretty close.
A dinosaur.
A dinosaur.
Oh, a dinosaur. I had it backwards.
All right. You want to tell the one about the buffalo?
A buffalo. Oh, I like buffaloes. Have you ever been to Wyoming and seen buffaloes? Oh my gosh, there's a whole bunch of them.
What did the dad buffalo say to his son when he was leaving for school?
I didn't know buffaloes went to school. Oh my goodness, buffaloes go to school. I have no clue what he would have said.
Bison.
Bison.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
One more last one. You want to do the snail one? That's a good one.
I don't.
Finish.
Why do ducks make great detectives?
Well, I have no idea.
They always quack the case.
Oh, they always quack the case. That is so cute.
You're not gonna do the snail one? Are you gonna do the rabbit one? How the rabbit gets to the other side? Okay, he's gonna do one more.
Okay, one more. And then I have a question for you. Can I ask you a question, Kenny?
Yeah, he's gonna ask you a question. You ready? Listen.
What made you decide that you wanted to write a joke book?
I decided to write a joke book so I could start to get a little bit more money for my college.
Wow. Oh, I just got chills all over my body for that. What are you going to do in college?
In college, I'm gonna try to like be a coder
A coder.
and also be an engineer.
A coder and engineer. Wow, that's quite an amazing feat you're up to. So you better earn lots of money with that book because you know what? It's going to take a lot of years for college for that.
He's ready. He's ready. You want to tell the last joke?
No, five.
Oh, he wants to tell 5 more jokes. Okay, let's
Five
do them
more
fast
jokes.
then.
All
Let's do
right, let's go
five
for
fast
it.
jokes. Let's see how fast you can tell them.
Okay. If a seagull flies over the sea, what flies over the bay?
If a seagull flies over the sea, what flies over the bay?
I know it has to be some kind of bird that has bayway in it or something. I don't know.
A bagel.
A
Oh,
bagel.
a bagel. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay, when is it bad luck to meet a black cat?
Ooh. I don't know. Black cats can be scary sometimes.
When you're in a mouse.
Oh, in your
Yeah.
mouth. Okay, good thing I'm not a mouse.
What's called when a cat wins the dog show?
Oh, I don't know.
A catastrophe.
A catastrophe.
Catastrophe. Well, what's a cat doing in a dog show anyway?
That's what I was wondering. But see, he even has nice little illustrations on each of these pages here.
Look at that.
And it's all fun stuff.
Wow.
One more joke, maybe?
Okay, what kind of music do planets listen to?
What kind of music do planets listen to? Okay, got it.
What kind of music do planets listen to? Earth ring?
No.
No.
Neptune.
Oh, a Neptune. Of course it would be Neptune.
What do you call a boomerang that won't come back?
A lost ring?
No.
No.
It's stick.
Oh, it's
That's it.
stuck.
All right, so you tell her the snail one is the last one. Tell her the snail.
I like snail jokes.
Okay. What does a snail say when it's riding on a turtle's back?
Oh my goodness, what does a snail say when it's riding on a turtle's back? Slow down? Oh,
Nope.
go swimming?
No.
No?
Say it real loud.
Wee.
Whee!
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, Beverly, I have to say, I'm so happy that you got to meet Kenny and that Kenny got to share a couple jokes in your show. I know that one of our goals in this was that during COVID, a lot of kids are home from school, and
Right.
he wanted to do something that would bring laughter to families, and at the same time learn some entrepreneurial skills and leave a legacy. So that's what he's up to. But something very special happened yesterday. Not something happy, but something special.
Okay.
His hamster unfortunately passed, and it was a very sad day. And he made a beautiful poem, and he buried the hamster in our backyard. Made a gorgeous rock, a big white rock. And he painted it,
Oh.
and the hamster's name was Whiskers. So I just want to say that Kenny's really been very brave during this period. And when kids lose their first pet, it's a really amazing lesson because they learn that life is precious.
You know, that is so true. That is so true. So, Kenny, you know what? That little Whiskers, you know where Whiskers is?
Yeah.
Well, he's not on Daddy's face. He's up there. He's up there in Whisker Heaven with all the other little hamster damsters. Yeah.
Yes.
So
So we're gonna go look at hamsters today, and he's probably
No, kitty.
and well, kitties and hamsters, and he has this amazing imagination that they're coming home today. But we're gonna spend a little time mourning Whiskers, and we're gonna contemplate that move. But I want to thank you for having Kenny on. He's actually working on his second book right now because during the summer, his next book is general trivia, and he knows all the 7 continents. He knows about 20 facts about the United States. So if he gets an opportunity, maybe in a month, you can see. I'll send you all these ebooks, and you can look at the general trivia. But so many kids are learning at home right now, and general trivia
right.
is a good way to measure the gamification of being aware of how to do a conversation, how to feel like you are confident and that you know how to talk about things. So Kane knows all the 7 continents, and he's really learning a lot.
Well, Kenny, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to take your dad and you on a trip into the little Avatar virtual reality world, because what we're doing in the virtual reality world is helping kids learn how to be confident within themselves as well. We're actually talking with schools now because who knows when they're going to be able to go back into a classroom.
Right.
But we built a classroom on the gaming platforms. We've got a university built out where we have the classrooms and everything. And so we've gotten different ideas to go on field trips with the kids where we can take them over to the planet world, jump on a little spaceship, fly up to your little Neptune. We can fly up there. You can jump off of the little spaceship, walk around on Neptune, and learn all about it. You know,
And that's
so
in Denver? Or is that-
no, actually, it's on the internet. We're on
Okay.
a platform. It's a gaming platform that we've just taken gaming and turned it into education. We've turned it into business and made that format. And so we're looking for little players like yourself, you know, and students to be able to come in and do different things. So maybe we can set up a trip one day with Dad. We'll get it all set up. You can come in. Maybe you have a little friend or two that can come along, and we'll run around the little avatar world and we'll show what it's like to be there in a classroom type setting and learning different things on different planets. Because I'd like to set one up for dinosaurs, right? And you can go into the forest and all these dinosaurs will be coming out and you can actually ride a dinosaur. So all kinds of fun things like that in the virtual reality world in a classroom setting, because this is how kids are learning today, right?
That's true. Yep.
You know, they're technology driven. It's in their DNA. How it got there, who the heck knows, but it's there. So
I think Whiskers put it there.
he could have. Whiskers just might have done that. So would you like to do that, Kenny? Would you like to be on a show like
With
that?
an avatar, and that way you can be on dinosaurs, virtual reality. Is that pretty cool? Okay. He plays Minecraft, so he'd be pretty good at that.
Oh, then he's all ready to go.
So I know a lot of your listeners might be wondering, where do you get this book? Kenny's Lunch Book?
Exactly. Where do you get your book, Kenny?
I get my books at
How can people get your book? How can people get your book?
on Amazon, searching up Kenny's favorite jokes, cracking you up.
Well, you know what? We're going to make sure that they find that Amazon link. So when the show goes live, we're going to put it up there on top and say, here, go find Kenny's book, right?
He's already sold quite a few, so thank you so much, Beverly. That was awesome.
Oh, well, you're welcome, Kenny. Thank you for joining us. And we'll definitely get on another show where you can actually advertise your book again and maybe talk about your new book. And we'll take you into a little adventure where you can run around with, you know, who knows, with the dinosaurs out on the moon, out on Neptune, and all kinds of fun stuff. Okie dokie?
Maybe the hamster run.
The hamster run. You know what? I think there is a hamster run on there already.
That's pretty cool. So what do you say? What do you say to Beverly?
Thank you.
Miss Beverly.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Thank you, Miss Beverly.
Thank you, Miss Beverly.
Bye-bye.
All right. All right, so I'm going to plug in so I can hear you a little better.
Okay. Well, that was a treat, Ken. Thank you so much for having him join us. What a little entrepreneur, huh?
Yeah, he's getting there. You know, for me, an entrepreneur is someone that is solving problems and making the world more value, or bringing value to the world. So,
Well, you know, that's what this show is all about, being that best you that you can be. And it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what avenue you're in. It's all about just getting, you know, one step better, and making the world a greater place. And man, if we can get these little kids like this started now, it just does my heart wonders, you know. And I am such a fan of children. I love children. You know, I've got grandkids, I've got great grandkids now, and it's just amazing. So whenever we have gatherings, you know, and all nieces and nephews and all the little kids are around there, you don't see me hanging out with the adults. I'm down there playing with the kids because to me, that's life.
it is. Well, I have a little good news for all the parents and kids that saw Kenny's book. It
Okay.
is 100% free as an ebook. So if people want the book,
okay.
they can certainly get it from us. I like the ebook getting out there because the real intention for that book is to bring laughter to the world. And
Right.
the price tag is simply for people that say, you know what, I'd like a copy signed by Kenny and help pay with his college. But really, we want to bring joy to the world. And the second thing I wanted to share, which may be very, I guess, unique to your program, is this particular book is designed so that parents that want to have their kid's name on the front cover and have their own kid on the front, this book
Okay.
is it's very templated so the kids can have, it's the last page in the book, they have Kenny's originals. So all the other jokes he found by Googling, and so the book is modifiable there, but it's pretty high quality jokes, I would say, because Kenny
Right.
really went through hundreds and hundreds. But I share this because I know that Kenny's got a new identity now. When you do a book,
Oh,
he
it
had
just
it,
changes everything.
yeah, we had someone come over and fix our air conditioner yesterday, and he said to the gentleman, he said, I just became an author like that.
Whoa.
And to have a kid be able to look on Amazon, look up their name, and see their book come up,
Yes.
it is, for me, I can't even imagine it, quite frankly, as a 7-year-old. But I can only make it. It seems like it would be like someone almost saying your name at the Oscars or something like that. Like you actually
Yeah.
really are making an impact in the world. So I just wanted to share that because this is not just really about Kenny. This is about kids taking their power of their creativity
Right.
and making something available for other kids to enjoy and let them know that they can be powerful too.
That's great. And that's one of the reasons why we are working so diligently now in the virtual reality world. One, they're not going to be able to get in the classroom like they were before.
Hmm.
Zooms just don't cut it. You can't keep a kid's attention. You can't
No.
even keep your own attention there. I mean, I've been on different events where I had to be there, and I'm trying to be professional and just stay steady, whatever. But you got people, up and down, back and forth, eating, making noises. You got background, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is like crazy. And so you have one person just kind of talking, and the psyche, the mind itself says, what are you doing just sitting here staring at the screen? And you just start to get tired,
Yeah, and the other thing is the time that it soaks up. If you're on a Zoom call, it seems like it's always an average of an hour
Right.
to be with a group of people, and it's good from a stimulus standpoint of being connected, but I think it's just such huge chunks of time being taken out of your day. And if
Right.
you're on a phone call with these same people, it might be a quick wrap.
Right.
Like it would be 20 minutes or 10 minutes, and you say what you need to say, and off you go.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I do love what you're saying, but I was going to tell you he was in martial arts and he was a brown belt,
Okay.
and they went when COVID hit, they had to go virtual, and that lasted a whole week for Kenny. I
Right.
mean, he was not digging the Zoom at all, and he says, "Daddy, I really don't want to do martial arts on the Zoom." And I said, "Okay, fine."
Right, and that's what you're going to find for schooling too. It's like,
Right.
you can't keep their attention, but when you're in that avatar world, it's a whole different ball game because
No
it
doubt.
looks like a classroom, and there's an interesting thing that happens when you're in that avatar world, and you're
Right.
sitting in that classroom because you're looking at a classroom. You've got your
Sure.
teacher right there in avatar form, but there's a video, screen behind them where the teacher can actually be there in person where you can see them as their humanoid, shall we say, right?
Right.
But right next to them, and the mind is saying, hey, there's somebody right next to me. There's no distancing. Like where we are in a Zoom, this is great. We're communicating. It's you and me, so it doesn't matter if we're here for 10 minutes, an hour, or whatever. We still have that connection because we're communicating back and forth. But when you have a group of people on a Zoom, the majority of the time you're just sitting there listening to different people till it's your turn, if your turn comes up, right?
Right.
Where in the avatar world, they're right there because you can see somebody sitting next to you, and that's what the mind says. There's a body right here next to me, and you can
Right.
actually lean over and whisper if you want, right? Because
That's wild.
it's there. It's so real, and that's why they call it virtual reality. What we're doing is not virtual. What we're doing is remote. So the word virtual kind of has gotten a little bad rap in what its true definition is.
I agree.
So and we're also looking at businesses from that standpoint where we have cubicles where people can go into an office. We also have boardrooms. So if your employees, let's say, because you're the owner of the business, they're all at home working from home because of what's going on with COVID. And they're finding that this work from home actually isn't so bad. Business is still, really going good. But there's that element of connectedness. And so they come together on a Zoom, but they don't have that attention span that's necessary. when you can go into the avatar world, everybody's sitting around a boardroom, you're side by side, the mind is now focused that everybody is here, you're having a discussion, and you know that they're there because there's a body sitting there, right?
That's really cool.
It really is. It really is. So to be able to bring that, out into the element of where we're going, because this is the way it's going to be done. Technology is here to stay, right? And so we decided, and we were actually doing this prior to the COVID, just kind of picking up the pace, because a year ago I wanted to do something virtual. I had no clue what virtual even meant a year ago. And I was talking with a friend of mine, and he had showed me the gaming thing, and I said, whoa, no, that's not going to cut it, because I wanted to teach classes and workshops, but I wanted to have that synergism, people in the room, right? And in January, he called me and said, I got your answer. I said, okay, show me. And we went into the university, and I saw the classrooms. Then I saw the auditorium. Here's the stage. Here's the chairs out in the auditorium. Out in the front entryway before you walked into the university, there's this huge stage outside, this whole grass area, where I could teach different classes. I was like totally blown away. And the more we started talking about it and different things, it's like, hey, let's start a business where we can maybe start interacting, do like a lead business, like your chambers, right? And those in that meet. So we started that. And then I got a little bored, and I says, let's do an event. Let's do a virtual event where we had vendor tables and all of that. My partner's like, I don't know anything about that stuff. I said, I do. You build it. I'll get the people there, right? And so we've been doing vendor events for the last 2 months. We got another one coming up. And you know what? This would be really great exposure for your book too, Ken, and Kenny's book. We can have a booth for him. He can have his little avatar there, and it's a clickable link, so anybody that sees the book can click on it and go get it.
Man, that's crazy.
Right? Yeah. I'll show you. I'll share that with you and show you what it exactly looks like and stuff, because that would be great exposure as well, right?
Agreed.
And who knows? Maybe we can get him up on the stage and he can tell a couple of his jokes. It'd be great, because there are going to be kids that are going to want to do different things, and who knows? Kenny might be the beginning of a new kids show in the Avatar world, right?
That is really wild. Yeah, I love it. I can't wait to see it and experience it. So send it when it's ready.
Yeah. Oh, it's up and going already. So.
All right. Well,
So-
I'm happy to show them this weekend.
Okay, we'll definitely share that. So Ken, you are an author too, right?
Yeah, just a couple.
Just a couple. He says, just a couple. Can you remember back when you thought you were going to write a book? I know I had always wanted to write a book, and then I actually started writing a book, and I really didn't know what I was doing, but hey, I wrote for 5 different newspapers, so writing wasn't something that was foreign, but writing a book was something totally different. And I talked to several different authors, and someone told me, said, start introducing yourself as an up-and-coming author and see what that does. So the first time I went to an event and somebody says, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm actually an up-and-coming author. And all of a sudden the world changed. Their whole demeanor changed. Everything is like, really? Oh my gosh, what's your book going to be about? And all this stuff. I'm like, well, I would have never thought that would get that kind of response until I actually did it. But when I've got 3 children, when I held my book in my hands for the first time, it was like giving birth to a child.
I agree.
Right?
And as a man, that's a tough thing to say, but it's true. It is birthing a legacy.
Yeah, it really is. So to be 7 and to have this book, I mean, it is so beautifully done. Oh my gosh. And you can tell that he's proud of it. And I just think it's amazing. I love little entrepreneurs. I love them.
Yes, they're future leaders, and they're future people that understand customer service and value and solving problems. So I agree.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I actually had a similar thing to Kenny in that he lost whiskers, and so he now has an appreciation for life. Well, I had been taking care of my mom who had Alzheimer's, and I had been wanting to be an author for some 30 years. And because of her having Alzheimer's and her needing care and then finally passing, that was what was the catalyst for me to finally get busy. And as you said, I didn't announce myself as an upcoming author. I just committed that within 1 year of my mom passing, I was going to make a tribute to her life by doing my first book and keep my promise that if I want to do this for 30 years, this is the time to do it.
Right.
So yeah, I totally agree with you on what has to happen is you have to change your identity. And you kind of have to me, I recommend to people they change their friends.
Right.
You really need to surround yourself with authors because they have a way and an intentionality and a support for future authors.
That is so true. And I've actually working on doing an event that's going to be just for speakers and authors, and I want to get some big names in there like the Hay Houses, right?
Yeah, right.
And Jack Canfield and some of these big authors, and have that in the event center on the virtual reality, in that world, and be able to have them as speakers and anything and everything you could possibly think about that goes into producing a book. So you can have ghostwriters, so we'll have some of those available. We'll have all the kind editors, right?
Yep.
Designers, you name it. So if you want to be, or if you're thinking about it, or if you already are and you're looking for different avenues, we'll have different, showcasing, people who have different, podcasts and shows and all kinds of avenues to get that out into the media. So that'll be available. So I'm really excited, and it's going to take a little bit of work to do, but
I'll help you.
Hey, you're on. You're on.
I mean, because that's really my mission. Is after seeing my mom pass, my mission is, what are you doing to leave a legacy? What are you doing to impact the world? Because you get one life. What are you gonna do with it?
Right. And that's so true. I've lost both of my parents, and you stop, you think back. I have 10 brothers and sisters. I'm the second oldest. So there's a huge family, and we're very close, very, very close. I have a lot of cousins, so I grew up in farming country in the Midwest, and went to the big city, and this little farm girl is not a farm girl anymore,
Yeah. What area were you farming?
It was in Iowa. I was up in the north central part.
Okay. That's why you're a good person, because all people from Iowa and Illinois, I mean, come on. They're all down, salt of the earth, hospitable people.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. There's a foundation there that's built completely different from other parts of the country, and yeah, it's amazing. You can almost point out where someone grew up by what their personality shows, right?
Oh, no doubt. And in my part of Illinois, probably very much like yours, you don't think about locking your door. It was pretty much.
No, you didn't. We didn't even have locks on the doors.
Really?
That wasn't even an option, right?
Yeah, it's funny.
What part of Illinois did you grow up in?
Gales. Well, I didn't grow up there, but I did spend from my high school years there, and it was Galesburg, Illinois, and it's about 2.5 hours southwest of Chicago.
Southwest, okay. I spent some time out in Chicago, up around Highland, in Schaumburg area. I also stayed down in Aurora for a while. So I had a lot of friends out there. I did a lot of classes and workshops and different things in the bookstores and whatever. And
Cool.
yeah, it's a fun area. I've been in every state of the union, including Alaska and Hawaii, and been around.
Oh, the big one to say is that you've been to the Dakotas. I mean, that's.
Oh, I love the Dakotas. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
South Dakota is like one of my favorite states.
I gotta check it out. I'm telling you, every single person I've talked to that says I've done almost all the states, and I'm like, how many? And they go 48 or 49. I'm like, well, what are you missing? They always say Dakota.
Oh no, oh my gosh, I love South Dakota. You've got the Badlands, you've got Mount Rushmore, you've got. I mean, there's so much history there that they've actually kept alive. And it's all along Interstate 90. It's not like you got to drive way off the beaten path. You don't.
Well, you sold me to adding that to my bucket list maybe this year.
Oh, South Dakota is awesome. It
That's great.
really is. It's got so many fun things, and there's a lot of kid things there, right?
Okay.
And going down into the state park that's south of Mount Rushmore is really awesome because that's where you're going to see some beautiful buffalo herds if you hit it at the right time. But even Yellowstone, I mean, you can take your way on into Yellowstone,
Right.
and that is just amazing.
You are definitely the spokesperson for the Dakotas.
Oh,
For
I
sure.
am. I am. Well, we went through.
Like if there was any doubt when you said that's my favorite area, you've just proven that that is definitely your favorite area.
Oh, it is. It is. You know, they actually have a reptile garden. My grandparents on my dad's side lived in Montana. So we would leave Iowa and go to Montana once a year. And we always had to cross through South Dakota. So you're going down Interstate 90, right? And you're seeing all these big billboards with everything on it. So as kids, you know, can we stop? Can we stop? Right? Well, my dad was, you go from point A to point B, and that was the end of it, right?
Right.
So when us kids started driving out there on our own, guess what? The first place we stopped was all over South Dakota. So, but your little guy there, he likes reptiles and stuff. Oh my goodness. You need to, if you go to South Dakota, you definitely have to go to the reptile garden. It's amazing what they have there. He can sit on this great big huge turtle and ride it.
Oh, so you can say we.
There you go. And they have chickens there that actually play the piano. I mean, it's
Wow.
just
That's so
it's
cool.
a fun place for kids. It really is. Yeah.
Well, I want to share something about a compliment to you is that Kenny. The other thing that he wouldn't obviously be on your show today if it wasn't for his book. So that by itself is a testament to why a book changes a kid.
Right.
But this might be maybe his tenth appearance roughly, but this is the first time he wasn't eager to get off. All the other times he told his joke or two and just so he's getting confidence. I want to thank you for making him feel really at home. He was very happy to be on your show.
Oh, thank you. That warms my heart. Like I say, I am a kid fan. I love kids. I've never had a kid run from me, so that's a good thing. And there's intuitiveness, right? And I think kids can sense when someone is comfortable with them, and it's not just there because they have to be type of thing,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, because I told him one more joke, and he turned to me and he said 5.
Yeah. I could do 5 more. This is fun, right?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to give you a gift because of who you are and how you actually show up for me in the world. We have Keep Smiling books like the ones in the back,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to include you in the podcaster book because this is a wonderful podcast. It's a great message, great mission. But I also want to share your story, and we have sort of a technology, just like that kid's book that Kenny showed is kind of templated.
Right?
These books only take about 4 hours to create from the author's standpoint. So you write your story and your journey of how you created who you are, why you do what you do,
Mm-hmm.
and how it brings value, how it solves problems, how it inspires hope in the world. And then we wrap it into a Keep Smiling book, and you pick a theme. Let's say you pick authors and speakers.
Right?
So it'll have 100 authors and speakers of your liking. So Jack Canfield could be in your book, and these are all pictures of people holding the Keep Smiling card. We have about 10,000 pictures, and you pick the 100 that you want in your book,
Wow.
and you let them know that you chose them because you're inspired by them, and you chose them because you wanted to honor them for what they create in the world. So they actually become ambassadors of your story and your podcast. So they share with the world their Keep Smiling book with your name on the front cover and your theme and their insight. So 80% of the book is actually photos of people you'd like to honor, and 20% of the book is your picture. Yeah, thank you, Kenny. He gave you another wave.
I saw that.
That was, I guess that's a hand bomb.
I guess so.
Yeah, 'cause
You
that
know
wasn't
what?
truly a photo bomb. I did write a book called The Art of Photobombing, and that is a fun little book I can give away too to any of your guests. But I just wanted to tell you that you really have a beautiful heart, and you're doing such great things. And for you to contact us and allow us to be on your show to share, Kenny's goal to bring laughter. I know a kid will communicate, obviously the surface part, which is it's money. I can become a coder and all this stuff, but he really does like to bring laughter to the world, and he is such a joy. And that's why I said, hey, Kenny, if you want to do a joke book, you've got all these jokes you like to tell. Do you want to make a book? And it was about a month before his birthday, and I said, ooh, this is going to be a little tight, but I got right to work on it, and it was probably one of the funnest projects I've ever done. And
Right.
it's actually a great way for you to bond with your kids.
You know,
Really
it
good.
is, and in this time of, having to spend more time, I shouldn't say having, but, you're there with your children, and that I feel is one of the better things that have come out of this whole
Totally.
situation is being able to reconnect parents with children again, because it's kind of lost that, and it's been several decades now where kids are raising kids, in daycare centers and stuff like
Sure.
that. So to be able to have that extra time, and I know for a lot of parents, it's like, what I do with these kids are driving me crazy, and so they're trying to find different avenues. I've seen some young entrepreneurs now who are in the babysitting realm, so to speak, and what they've done is they've actually taken storytelling time, on the Zoom, and they interact with the kids, reading the books. Okay, you read that paragraph, and the next one does that, and they're spending one-on-one time, or maybe just a couple kids at a time, to keep their attention, with that, so they have an hour and a half with them, which then gives the parents a little breather time. So there's a lot of creativity coming out of this, but again, it's what can you do to spend time with your kids, because life is precious. You never know. You just never know. So
Well, very good. So we do want to include you in the holiday, I guess, books that we're releasing. So it doesn't take that long to do a book, but I'm adamant that with what you're doing, especially with your virtual reality experience,
yeah.
that's really something that brings a lot of smiles to the world. So I'm going to make it a point to bug you a little bit next week to get this done, because I think your story will be really fun, especially since you're a Midwestern gal.
Well, alrighty then. You're on. We'll make this happen. And like I say, I work with a lot of beautiful people, mostly women. I probably have only had a handful of men on my show, and it wasn't by design. It's just that's how it happened, right? And it's
Well,
it's an honor.
women are my favorite gender too, so I got
Does-
no beef with that.
Okay, I gotcha. So is Kenny an only child?
He is.
Okay.
And actually, my mission after my mom passed was to actually serve women empowerment. So I volunteered over and over and over again to be the photographer and the promoter of women empowerment events. So I do say in all seriousness that women have such a phenomenal nurturing leadership, community building strength and skill set that I really want to be a part of that. I wanted to let the world know that there's a lot of very powerful women, and that they are definitely amazing leaders because they care about leadership. And leadership is when you care about your followers and you care about your community.
Right, and that is so true. And there is a huge movement going on right now. As a matter of fact, I've got a summit that is an women's empowerment summit that we're putting together here Saturday. I have 7 different recordings that I have to do for this, and
My goodness.
yeah, and so there's been several of them popping up, and the show has only been running since March actually, and you would think it's been going on like forever. It has really exploded. I have been able to contact some unbelievable, amazing women speakers and entrepreneurs, and a lot of them, haven't ever been on a show before. They're a little nervous coming on, but once we get into the show, everything is organic. We just,
Right.
have a conversation, and when the show is over, the first comment they say is, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe how comfortable you made me feel." Right from the beginning, it was just so easy to be able to talk to you. And so I look at that as being an asset. When my story goes back, where I had lost my identity, I was pretty much a rebel through my whole life. And I guess I still am at heart, and, but there was a few years of shifting that had taken place, and I really lost my identity through a marriage, having kids, and it was like all of a sudden I was a non-existent entity except by association. You're so-and-so's mom, and oh my gosh, this is what really got me was, oh, you belong to so-and-so, naming your, the person you're married to, right? And it's like, wait a minute, I don't belong to anybody. What happened to me,
Yeah, hey, I've lost my identity since I became an author. I'm just Kenny's dad now.
Well, there you go, right? But it really took its toll for me, and it pushed me to an avenue. I mean, I had fought depression off and on as a child, but back in the 70s, there wasn't any self-help anything, and spending time in the Midwest, if you're out in the country especially, you didn't talk about things. It just wasn't there. That just wasn't the way it was, and there just wasn't anyone to converse with, and with your mind, it takes you in avenues, and you can go down this rabbit hole of, darkness, so it was, that all came back through that period of my life where there was no identity. It was only by association. I was living in a dead-end marriage. I had 3 children under the age of 5. I was not going to follow my mother's footsteps, right? I was living in Iowa, where that is not where I was supposed to be, and all of these things, what rebel me got me into. And I was ready to check off the planet. I was right on the edge of suicide when I had my out with God, shall we say. And but I was always intuitive, as a child. And I was small, I was picked on and teased, but I could instigate and get other kids in trouble and disappear, and I didn't have to take fall for it because I wasn't there. That and that kept my intuitiveness, I guess, alive, and works creatively for me now. It's really been an asset. But being able to come out of that and listen to that voice, you can have anything you want. You can do anything you want. You need to focus on the self, because you've got to put you first. Because you can't give outside of yourself what you haven't already given into yourself. So if your inner cup isn't full, you'll never have a completion of fullness in your external world. And that's kind of where my mission kind of took me at first, and has driven me into the avenue where I've been, and working around the science of how the mind all works with the emotional aspects and how to really clean up that baggage. So I'm an identity revelation specialist, right? And we work on helping you become your own self archaeologist, and how you can move away the things that you're not to find the things that you are, and really start capitalizing on those assets. So when you said, when you become this author, when you're in that avenue, it's like, maybe you really need to think about changing the people that you surround yourself with. Those are very powerful words. And again, when you step back and you take a look at who is in your circle of acquaintances, are they an asset to you or a detriment? Right?
Right. Are they listening for who you should become, or are they holding you back because they don't believe anything's possible?
Right. And they're trying to tell you that they know better what you need to be than what you do, right? And it's interesting because a lot of us fall into that trap, right? Yeah. Where we just follow somebody. Well, they must know something I don't know, so they're telling me I have to be like this, and it's like, well,
especially if you ask someone, they say, yeah, you don't need to become an author, you won't become an author, and you're like, well, have you written a book? And they're like, no.
Right. Yeah, it's like telling someone that is living paycheck to paycheck and totally in debt, past their eyeballs, that are going to tell you how to go out and make money, right? It's
right.
Like,
exactly.
Something in this picture doesn't quite jive, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And again, I think it's a lot of that wanting to be accepted, wanting to have a friend. Well, what's the definition of a friend? You got to look at, there's billions of people here in the world, billions of people out there. I would guarantee when you become your identity of who you truly are, there's going to be millions of people out there that are going to want to be your friends. But you've got to be able to move and create the change. Because if you don't create the change, you're just going to stay stagnant where you are. But change in the world keeps on going. It'll go with or without you, and that's your choice, right?
So there's the one thing you can count on is change.
Yeah. Well, what you've been doing here, Ken, with these books and how you're driven to leave that legacy, and it's such a beautiful legacy to leave. And with the technology the way it is today, it's amazing on how fast all of this can happen. And even like what we're doing here, and I have a home studio, and it's not this big massive production like it used to be. There's back I was like 2006, 2005. I did have a recording studio, and we had the whole setup, the mics, the amps, the keyboards, you name it. We had the whole thing, and it was one room full. And now it's just two little pieces of equipment. I have my laptop, I have my platforms. It's all software. I have a second screen, and that's it. And this headset's got everything that you need. So when you look at where technology has gone, it's totally amazing. And the internet, of course, now is just you're global wherever you want to go in that fast, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So now we just got to make sure they don't shut down the internet, right? It's like, because when I travel a lot, and I've been in different areas, and it doesn't matter where I go. Hey, if I have high-speed internet, I'm in heaven.
It's amazing how many places do not have internet connection. Yeah, and so I was really awakened during this COVID how many people are actually suffering on two levels. They don't have the social, and they don't have the internet connection to stay connected. So it's something that still needs to be fixed and worked on.
Exactly. And my sister is living down in Chloride, Arizona, and I went down to pick up some stuff that I had taken out of a home in Vegas where I was living with my friend back and forth when I was in and out of town, and she passed. So it was time to take, everything out of there, and I didn't have room to carry it with me, so I left it at her place, and now she's moving from Chloride back to Wyoming, and it's like, what, I gotta get a truck, come down and get my stuff out of there, because you don't need to haul my things around, you got enough of your own, right? And there is no internet out there. I think it was like 20 years ago when cell phones and stuff kind of first started, they actually ran a line into town, and 5 people had connection to that. And one was the water department, one was the library, and then I think there was 3 individual people that paid the money out for it. But there's no carrier that's going to come into that town, so everything's done by satellite, and satellite is not cost effective at all, and even with it, it's not that reliable. So I would go up in front of the library and I'd jump on, their Wi-Fi, but it wasn't strong enough to even run my shows. I couldn't even play my shows. So there was 3 days that, hey, the show didn't go on, but you know what? It's okay. I still made it through. People are still watching. It's okay.
That's great.
Right.
That's great.
So yeah, there are lots of areas out there that they just don't have it.
We're going to work on it.
That sounds like a winner. I so love your idea with the books and everything and how you're putting that together. And there is a lot of collaboration, with books and stuff. So now, are you your own self-publisher as well?
I am, for a unique reason. A lot of people are self-published because they don't have a publisher that they can find, or they can't afford a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
I am self-published because I'm a marketer, and so all my clients and my books get reordered and reordered and reordered and reordered because I market them just continuously. They never stop being marketed. So when I go to an event, I have a table. When I go to an event, I speak, and I make sure everyone gets the ebooks for free.
Mm-hmm.
They get to see all my clients' books. Here's a book right here that I just did recently, The Science of Smiles.
Right.
And I always have a rule that anytime I show a book on someone's show, I give it away for free as an ebook. So we have so we call the Key Smiling books a dose of hope. I don't know if you see, this is not the new banner. The new banner has dose of hope, and dose is the dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins that are given off by reading the book.
Oh my gosh, that is
happy
so
chemicals.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's these books are just like little 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, you brought up Jack Canfield. It's funny, we really haven't mentioned a lot of other names. I do want to give a shout out to an important person, because she is actually my publicist and the reason I'm on the show. But Andre Adams Miller
Right.
is one of the people that is not just the executive director, but she helps so many podcasters get scheduled really good guests, and also the authors of these books get on all kinds of great shows and get to share their inspirational message. So we call it a dose of hope because in this day and age, COVID or not, there are a lot of people that are in either desperation, depression, or without
Right.
hope. And it's for a multitude of reasons. They could be lonely, they could have some depression, they could have mental illness, they could um, just have lost their job. They could be in the midst of losing a lot of other things. And it's actually going to cause them to lose more because they're going down the wrong journey instead of up.
Exactly, down that dark rabbit hole,
Yeah,
right?
and it's self-perpetuated, and people, I think for the most part, that are in a dark cycle, they don't realize that they're in that because they chose to be, and that's a very big ownership piece to take. But these books show over and over again. We have 116 of them, and we have some amazing people like Frank Shankowitz, who started Make-A-Wish Foundation. We have William Paul Young, who wrote The Shack. We have Dr. Ivan Meisner, who started Business Network International, BNI. These people overcame all kinds of things. These were not lives that were like, oh my gosh, you know what? In 30 years from now, I'm just going to say Make-A-Wish Foundation. I'm going to make it. It's going to be easy, and there'll be 500,000 Wish kids. I mean, the movie Wish Man is one of the most emotional movies I've ever seen, and we are fortunate to have him as one of our Keep Smiling authors. But every one of the 116 had challenges. Every one of them had failures. Every one of them had to overcome something, and that's why the biggest part of the journey, I mean, the chapter is the journey. How did you create who you are? Because you have to be unstoppable. Just like you said before,
Yes.
when you said that you were not in a really good place, if you didn't overcome it, you're gone. If you overcome
Oh,
it,
exactly,
you're,
and yeah.
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 So we believe that these books are important for three reasons. One, they give the author a chance to be an author because they may not have been authors before.
Right.
So that's one. Two, they serve obviously as an inspirational piece for the reader. And since we get about 10 to 30,000 downloads per book, that's pretty significant.
That's
a lot
very
of people being
significant.
touched. Well, because the book only has a 10 or 15-minute read, most people will download a lot of them and read them all. And then the third thing is it is one of the strongest marketing assets. If you look at this day and age, what sells, people buy two things. And everyone will jump and say, know, like, and trust. And I do agree that know, like, and trust is a foundation, but that's not what sells anymore. That's what's given. That is
Exactly.
a given. So the two things that sell are inspiration and social proof. Inspiration is, how do you show the world that you care, that your why is big, that you have passion, that you are relentless in making your dream and your mission come true. That's inspiration, because you can sell anything if you have that kind of conviction.
Right.
And the second thing is that if you can Google it or Amazon it and see all the reviews that say it's the real deal. And if you have those two things in place, I don't see anything stopping you from having an income, having conversion, having a life you love.
That is so true. Those are really, really words of wisdom. Thank you for sharing that, because it is so true. And you look at what's going on in the world and the movement that even started before this COVID thing of inspiring people, giving people hope. And I think that was one of the things that has been lost over the last couple decades, is people don't feel like they have hope. They don't know where to go, because you have that cell phone, right? And it's great technology, but it kind of created its own little distancing, because people were always down here doing this or whatever, and it kind of lost that one-on-one communication.
Right.
And that needs to come back again. And now, in the midst of everything that's happening here, it's like, now you got to stay 6 feet away from someone. It's like, wait a minute, the human element was not built to be isolated away from someone else. So we got things a little backwards here. And it's like, we need to come full circle, take out the great advantages of what's caused here. I mean, we've really gotten rid of a lot of pollution. That's amazing. I love it, right? There's been a lot of different designing on how business can be done and still be successful. So we've overcome different challenges. Yeah, we've made a few other little mistakes come up, but again, it's taking the best of both worlds. The world before COVID and the world during COVID is going to create a new world after COVID. That I think if we merge the assets from both worlds, that we're going to find more peace, more harmony, and balance in every aspect of living. And that's kind of what my goal is to do my part, to be able to bring that harmony in being that best you. No more spiraling down into this dark rabbit hole. Let's take it out in space and let's just go. Let's just soar. You think you had it bad? Okay, fine. Get off your platform here and get out there, because you don't have to stay. You have free will. Nobody's taking that away from you except you. You have a choice. What side of the fence you want to be on? I actually wrote a book on what side of the fence do you want to be on. Because if you're sad and miserable over here, then that's where you are. If you want to be happy and joyful and have fun, that's over here. You get to choose, but you can't have both. Not at the same time. Where do you want to be? Which one's going to give you more excitement, more energy? It's going to be over here where all the happiness and stuff is. Not over here where the misery and sadness and, the poor little me's. Let's get real. Right? Experience it, get out of it, and get on. And that's kind of where I've taken my journey, because I was wallowing in some of that. I was in a depression, and it's like, how did I get here? This isn't me, and what's out there. And it's really changing that mindset. And the support that's available today is endless. But if you don't open up this little pie hole, nobody's going to know. Okay? And so, doing what you're doing here and giving people a way to voice themselves in their words is awesome. Right?
Yeah, and this is a reflection of gratitude too.
Yeah.
Because when you have all this stuff taken away from you that you take for granted, you actually have an appreciation, a new appreciation for it. So when you're talking about harmony and this new world, you're finding out how much you don't need, but you're also finding out what you can be grateful for.
Exactly.
And when you're in the dogma of just every single day being a rat race, you lose actually life.
You do, and that is so true. And you know what? If you're not living, you're dying. On this show, we're living to live more. Right?
That's right.
Oh, Ken, this has been such a delight having you on the show and having that young little man there on the show with us. He is going to be one powerful foothold and following his daddy's footsteps. That's going to be a legacy, and you should be proud of him. It's amazing what you're doing there. And you know what? When I run across kids that are interested in starting to do this, I'm going to send them your way.
Well, he does not really normally like to sweep the floor, but he grabbed that Swifter thing and he couldn't help but swift around the dining room table here while we were on the show, and I had to go on mute for a second and say, "Hey, Kenny, I'm on the show. You're making too much noise." But he just couldn't stay away. So, just another thank you to you about that.
Oh, thank you. It's been a delight having you both on the show, and who knows, we'll definitely do this again, especially when he's getting ready to launch his next book. We'll have to make sure that we
Probably
get it out there.
Probably a month away.
Okay, that's
you.
amazing. Thank you, Ken. And it's time to say, go out there, be that best you that you can be, because, well, Ken and I are going to be the best we that we can be. And we'll see you all on the next show. What?